The Netherlands is full. Queen Juliana already said this in her throne speech in 1950, when our country had not even 10 million inhabitants. She repeated that in 1979. The Netherlands is full, in part even overcrowded. And now, in 2026, the Netherlands has more than 18.4 million inhabitants. And if we continue like this, by 2050, the Netherlands will have 23 million inhabitants, more than half of whom will be migrants. And for more than 15 years now, it has been promised time and again that the influx of foreigners will be reduced. For example, Mark Rutte said in 2010. The Netherlands is not a country where anyone who wants to can just settle. In 2012, he said, those who don't behave here leave. In 2017, act normal or leave. CDA member Sybrand Buma in 2017. Migration must remain manageable. Mark Rutte in 2021. We need to get a grip on migration. CDA member Wopke Hoekstra in 2021. Not everyone can come here. And Dylan Jesselgus in all VVD election campaigns. The influx of asylum seekers must be drastically reduced. And in that same period, the Dutch population has grown by almost 2 million people solely due to migration. Before the elections, they promised to do something about immigration, and after the elections, absolutely nothing happens. Is it any wonder that the Dutch have completely lost trust in politics? So I completely understand that only 21% of the Dutch have confidence in politicians, because every day Dutch people are confronted with the consequences of mass immigration, the lack of safety on the streets, not being able to get a home because status holders are given priority, and the loss of their sense of belonging. And now, because of the dispersal law, municipalities are being forced to take in asylum seekers in municipalities where there is absolutely no support for this. The dispersal law, which moreover was only supported by the VVD, who have done nothing about the influx for 16 years, on the condition that the influx would be drastically reduced. And last week, this cabinet announced with great fanfare that strict asylum measures are coming. But what turns out to be the case? Not a single measure will do anything to prevent asylum seekers from coming to the Netherlands. And of course, Forum for Democracy supports the declaration of undesirability, the abolition of judicial penalty payments for the IND, and the criminalization of those who frustrate return. But my question to the Minister is, when will there finally be national measures to stop the asylum influx? Because it is already known that the European Migration Pact will be a complete fiasco, since the right to apply for asylum remains, member states are not at all prepared, and the Netherlands has to pay 20,000 euros per asylum seeker to have them accommodated in another country, without any guarantee that they will not still enter our country. Chair, the Netherlands can no longer cope. Instead of limiting the influx, the cabinet is leaving the borders wide open. And thanks to the dispersal law, every municipality, every village, every city will get an asylum seekers center. In January of this year, 3,200 asylum seekers came to the Netherlands. February, 2,600. March, 3,500. April, again 3,500. And last week, in week 17, it was 1,000 people in just 1 week. My question to the Minister is, when will this cabinet declare an asylum emergency so that the use of emergency law can be discussed and stricter measures may be allowed and possible? And what does he think is needed for that? The previous cabinet investigated whether Article 103 of the Constitution could be used for this, but EU asylum law and treaties such as the ECHR would make that impossible. Can the Minister confirm that this is the reason why the Netherlands cannot close its borders on its own? And does he agree with Forum for Democracy that the Netherlands in fact no longer has any control over its own asylum policy? Chairman, as long as we are in the European Union, commit ourselves to the ECHR and the UN Refugee Convention, asylum law cannot be fully suspended. We cannot close our borders, and the whole world will keep coming to the Netherlands. And in this way, we are losing our beautiful Netherlands, our only home, at a very rapid pace. But this does not have to happen. It is a matter of political choices. Terminating the UN Refugee Convention, the ECHR, and leaving the European Union, so that we can once again decide for ourselves in our own country who is allowed to enter. Thank you.